and welcome to our channel Horizons Tomorrow. Today we have a very special guest all the way from England. Her name is Jan Boardman, and I would like to say good morning here in Colombia, good afternoon in the UK. Jan, welcome to our channel. How have you been?
I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
It is a pleasure. It is a pleasure. Would you be kind enough to let us know where are you now and what time is it?
I am in Ilkley in West Yorkshire, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The clocks changed last night.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah.
Okay. How would you like to disclose to our audience who is John Boardman?
Right, I'm retired, single. I've been divorced for 40 odd years now, so single a long time. I've got two children,
Oh,
uh, four, four grandchildren.
oh,
And I used to be a IT project manager and subject matter expert for a large banking group in the UK. And I've been retired about 8 years now, so spend all my time watching cycling.
wow, excellent. Huh?
Yeah.
How would you like to disclose to our audience how did we ever met?
One that wasn't it. We were both in a place called Agen, Agen, in the middle of France, right in the middle of France, and it was at the start of one of the stages of the Tour de France. I have a very bad habit of talking to anyone who stands still long enough. I mean, I'd already met two more people on that same day who I'd showed round the fan park because they couldn't believe what that was. We'd had a cup of coffee, and then I'd watched them watch the caravan publicitaire come past. I love watching that when someone's never seen it before because it's so funny and no one knows it's there. Anyway, I went to the Ineos bus as it was their turn today, so I could see if anybody was there that I knew. And I was talking to a guy from Ireland who stood next to me, and you stood the other side of him. And so we just all started talking together. And that's exactly what happens at every single tour I go to. I just end up talking to people, and it's fabulous.
Just wonderful, just
Right.
wonderful. Huh? How did you ever become the best cyclist fan I have ever met?
Well, I went to the Tour de France in 2015. I'd never heard of it before 2014 when it came through Ilkley. Didn't even know it existed. And my family and I, we all went and we got we picked had picnic blankets and we had some drinks and some food, and we all sat on the side of the road waiting for the race to come past. You couldn't miss it in Yorkshire because Yorkshire was absolutely covered in it. We had people were knitting bunting and all sorts of stuff. So we sat on the side of the road and it was absolutely brilliant fun. 15 seconds and the race had gone. Not fast. But then I decided to go the next year to France and I went and watched 5 stages. Um, and it was really fabulous fun. I'd never enjoyed anything so much for years. We always used to go on holiday and we just fly over France and land on the coast somewhere, and you just miss the beauty of France. So for the last 10 years, I've been going for as many stages as I can. And now I go to all stages except in Paris. I don't like going to Paris. Done it once, it was no fun at all. So I shan't do that again. Yeah, so that's how it was. And the more I watch, the more I enjoy. It's not necessarily the cycling. There's a lot more to it than that. It's all about people for me. from all over the world. And it's all about France, which is absolutely beautiful, especially the middle. And so the cycling is sort of it leads me where I'm going to go. But the cycling, I love the cycling as well, but there's so much more than just cycling,
Wow.
if that makes sense.
Absolutely. How does it feel to be part of the Grand Boucle, to know almost everyone, and actually everyone knows you at the Tour de France?
It's because I talk all the time to anyone who stands still long enough. And I'll talk to people. I don't talk to the riders so much because I don't like to intrude, but I love talking to the staff, the team's staff. Um, and all the fans around the edges. I get to meet so many of them again and again and again. Um, and it's the more you talk to people, the more you find out about them. I very rarely talk to them about cycling. I mean, I'll give you an example of what I mean. Rod Ellingworth, he was um, the main person for Ineos, or Team Sky as it was then, and then Ineos. And he stood still. So I spoke to him in 2016 in Andorra. And he was so lovely, and we just had a short chat, and then he waved to me the next stage, and then I said hello to him the next stage, and then the final stage that time I wrote him a letter, and the letter I wrote had my email on the bottom, and it was my last stage, so I was about to go home, and he sent me an email 2 days later just to check up I'd got home okay. I
Oh,
mean, how lovely is that? And that is an example of how I've got to talk to people. And we always talk, his daughter is a gymnast, my granddaughter is a gymnast. So we frequently just talk about gymnastics, not cycling. So, that's what we do. That's how I've got to know so many people, which is
amazing,
lovely.
amazing, amazing. You mentioned very briefly when we met in Agen that Chris Froome saved your life. Would you like to disclose that beautiful story
Right.
to our audience?
I will cut it as short as possible because I could go on for hours about this. I mean, you sort of like that. Did he run into a burning building and pull me out or something, or did he save me from a river? No, no, he didn't even know I existed at the time he saved my life. It was in 2014, just after the Tour de France had come through, and I was ill. I mean, I was really ill. I was morbidly obese, so I was very fat, very overweight. I had a heart arrhythmia, so it didn't beat regularly. I had diabetes, type 2 diabetes, which is just nasty. I had arthritis, I had asthma, I was not well. So just after the Tour de France in 2014, I ended up having a heart attack. So I was really, really not well. So I had 8 weeks off work, which just coincided with the Vuelta 2014. I had nothing else to do. I'd quite enjoyed watching the Tour de France, so I decided I'll watch the Vuelta. And Chris Froome, who'd broken one arm and the other hand, so he had both wings were broken. Contador had broken his leg in the Tour de France, and 4 weeks later they were both going to chase each other all around Spain in the Vuelta, which was unbelievable. So it was so exciting watching them chasing each other all over Spain that I got up and I started to pace up and down my room because it was so exciting. Anyway, after 10 days, they had um, a rest day. And one of the interviews, Chris Froome was asked, had he given up because he was a little bit behind Contador at that point, and he said no, he was not going to throw in the towel just yet. And I sat there and I thought, I threw my towel away. What am I doing? Why? And so it was a rest day. It was a Sunday. So I just got up, got in my car. I drove to a canal, which is a very straight river with a path along the side. And I walked out for 30 minutes, turned round and walked back. And then I felt it was a proper moment, a proper momentous moment for me to do that. And then the next day I did it again. I went down to the canal, I walked for 30 minutes, I turned round and I came back again. And then I watched Chris and Alberto chasing each other all over France on stage 11. And Froome did really well. So I thought, next day, I went down to the canal, I did the walk again, I came back, and Froome did even better. So, so I decided that the more I did, the better Froome would do. Superstition, feeling, whatever. But I used that. So I went down to the canal the next day and I made sure that I walked for 30 minutes, but I tried to get to the next lamppost rather than the same place as last time. So I walked a bit further and walked back, still only an hour because I was still very big. And the more I did, the better Froome did. The better Froome did, the more I wanted to do. And by the time the Vuelta ended and I'd watched them both race to the final centimetre, every single stage, no giving up anywhere. I was just over 1.5 kilograms lighter, which is a lot just through going out and walking up and down the canal. And that's what Froome did. Froome inspired me to do that. And that's how he saved my life. Because I then started watching on YouTube all his old races and using him and how he would fight and fight and fight in every single race he did, right to the final inch. And then I started walking up hills. I started to walk for an hour and a half. I would walk further and the more I walked, the better I felt. The better I felt, the more I was able to get my eating under control. And by the time I got from the September to the Christmas, I'd lost 7.5 kilograms. And I felt so much better. In the end, after 18 months, I lost a quarter of my body weight. And that's how, and I've no longer got type 2 diabetes. I don't have, well, my arthritis is under control. I don't have a heart arrhythmia anymore. So my heart is okay. And that's how Froome saved my life. Even though he didn't know
Amazing
I
story.
existed.
It's an amazing
Yeah.
story. After 10 years, I see a healthy, a happy lady. What would you tell, Jan, to all those people watching that are about to throw the towel? What would you tell them based on your own experience?
You have to find something to inspire you. I found Froome. Froome inspired me to do this. If you can find something or someone or somewhere, anything, just to give you um, something to hang on to, because if you are overweight, it is such a nasty circle to be in, because the more you eat, the worse you feel. You have to break that cycle. And to break that cycle, you need help. So you have to find something that you yourself can hang on to that will pull you out of that nasty circle of overeating. I think that makes sense. Yeah, you just
Well,
need to find something to inspire you.
what would you say to Chris Froome if he ever watches this interview? How would you thank him for that?
I thanked him in person so many times, and the first time he actually remembered my name was just wonderful. Yeah, because he is such a lovely person. He really is. He's an inspiration, and he's so friendly. He'll talk to anybody. He's brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that lovely story with our viewers. Huh? Let's go back to cycling, if you don't mind. Huh? Would you be kind enough to give us your opinion about our Colombian riders in Europe?
Well, my favourite, I have a favourite. Everybody has a favourite, but it's Esteban Chavez, Mr. Smiley
El
Face.
Chavito.
He is just the most lovely person I have ever met. And I have met him, and he always smiles, and he's just a delight. And he's a brilliant rider. He's very small, but he's um, you've got the biggest rock star in cycling in Rigoberto Urán, obviously. And I've not actually managed to get a picture of him. He's the only, and I've tried a lot. Couldn't get near him. There's far too many people around him all the time. um, I like Nairo Quintana as well. I feel quite sorry for him because he's so difficult to get to know. He's so quiet, but I did meet his wife and his two children, so I think he's lovely. I think
Wow.
he's so sweet. Yeah. Who else have you got? Egan, of course, Egan Bernal. And we all know all about Egan, and he's just the sweetest, nicest person in the world. Um, you've got very young, up and coming ones as well. I looked in the national championships from Colombia, and you've got there's some new names in there that I don't remember, but there are some new names in there. So I'm looking forward to seeing quite a few of those over in the next couple of years, which will be good.
Wow. Wow. You knew much more than I expected. Absolutely wonderful. Huh? What would be your best advice, Jan, to someone who wants to see one stage at the Tour de France with all your experience?
It doesn't matter where you go, it doesn't matter start, middle, finish, mountain. Try and avoid the sprint stages, um, or the sprint finishes. I don't like the sprint finishes, but if you get any chance at all, just go, just do it. If you're thinking about it, make up your mind and go because it's just amazing. I mean, there is so much to see everywhere. Even if it's just a sprint point, they're fun because they're always a bit of a carnival in the town that's doing it because there's no restrictions. Um, at the starts are fantastic. Well, you were at the start, and they are fantastic, aren't they? Kilometer zero, when they finally take off at full speed, amazing. So anyway, just if you want to find out the art of the possible, I'm going to plug my book here. If you want to find out where you want to go to find out what you want to see and pick the one stage that is going to suit you, just read my book because it tells you. I've split it into chapters in and breaking up each type of stage and each part of each type of stage, how to get there, how to avoid getting stuck in traffic, um, how to cycle in the area, how to walk in the area, um, and and I've given examples of some of the amazing times I've had from all the people that I've met. It's just wonderful. So my advice is just do it.
If you allow us to, let me ask for your authorization so I can publish within this video description all the details about your book, so people can get it and can have all the knowledge that you have gained throughout all these years. Huh? Now, with all due respect, John, would you be kind enough to disclose your best cyclist in your history?
I had to think about this one. Right. So obviously Froome, Chris Froome, obviously, I mean, he is just the nicest, kindest, most approachable person in the whole world. Um, right, the second one is a little bit off the wall, but it's Chris Yule Jensen, who you've probably never heard of.
No, no,
He
I
is
know
a
who he is. I know
yeah,
who he is, of
yes, yeah.
course.
He's a domestique for the Jayco Alula team, and he's my friend. And every time I see him, he comes over and says hello. And it doesn't matter where he is, he's got the big smile on his face. And he always stops and says hello. He is just lovely. So he's my second favourite by miles. Right. Um, as for really good riders, I like Wout van Aert, because he again always smiles. He's a friendly, chatty, happy person most of the time. And he is just so talented with the sprints, with the classics. Um, and then he wins on Mont Ventoux when they went up twice. I mean, that's astonishing. I also like watching him when he does the cyclocross as well. So I like him as well. Tadej Pogacar, he's just awesome. He's so good that he has to be everybody's favourite. And
Absolutely.
then another one a bit off the wall is Josh Tarling. Now he is 20 years old.
Yes, yes.
He's a big lad. He's quite big. He's about 6'2", 6'3". He's a big boy.
He's got a
Yeah,
huge potential. Huge.
absolutely massive. I mean, he was third in the no, he was second in the elite men's time trial behind Remco Evenepoel.
I know.
He's 20. He's
Absolutely
just astonishing. Yeah. So hey, I can't wait to keep watching him. He's because I think he's going to be amazing.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
Jan, what golden advice would you give to a new generation of youngsters who would like to be professional riders in Europe?
Right. I think to be because I'm not a rider, and I never have been, and I never will be. I think the only thing that I can say is if you enjoy it, you stand a chance. If you don't enjoy it, it's not going to happen. If you're not going to be a professional rider and you're thinking, should I get a bike? Is it going to do me any good? Should I get hire a bike when I get to France? Should I cycle about in France? Absolutely. I was so heavy when I got my first bike, and I went to I took it to France in 2016. I got it in the February, promptly fell off, pulled a muscle. And then, so I had 2 weeks training by the time I got to the Pyrenees with my bike. And I actually got myself and my bike to the top of the Col d'Aspin, which is a category 1 climb in the Pyrenees. And the feeling I got, I was just amazing. The sense of achievement of what you can do, not being a rider, but just sitting on top of a bike was amazing. Absolutely brilliant. So if you get a chance to do that, whether you want to be professional or not, that is what you need to try and do. Yeah.
We're about to finish, Jan. What will have been the most emotional moment or anecdote, history in all those stages and tours that you have attended? One or two?
So many.
How many?
I'll pick ones that are not in my book if I can, because the helicopter's in the book. I went in a helicopter, but that's in the book. The Col d'Aspin, the first climb I ever did. That was seriously emotional. But that's in the book too, so you can read about that one. Um, oh my goodness, an emotional moment. I think I think the most emotional moment was I met Rod Ellingworth on the 2016 tour, and didn't think anything about it. It was lovely. And then on the 2017 tour, um, I was just randomly standing about, not even near the buses, but I was near the paddock where the buses go. And Rod comes over and taps me on the shoulder and said, "We were all wondering if you were going to be here this year." And that was a very emotional. I felt like I belonged. It made me feel wonderful. And he's such a lovely man. He really is. So that was one of them. Um, Another one we had, which was it wasn't so much emotional, but it was really fun and a great way to get to know other people. Geraint Thomas in 2019, 2021. I can't remember. He forgot to take his gilet off, which is a little jackety thing that they use to keep warm when he was warming up for the time trial. And he forgot to take it off when he did the time trial. So it's like wearing an anchor. It's so fun. Anyway, the media guy, George Solomon, fabulous person, he came up with this idea of getting the Gilet from Denmark, where the tour started, all the way around the Tour de France to Paris via fans. So yeah, so I had, and it was so fun because I met so many people who had the jersey as they went past, the gilet as it went past. I had it on Alpe d'Huez, passed it to, no, got it from the Beefeaters, who are quite famous on there. Took it to Mond, and then met a whole group of people who I passed it on to from there, and I still meet up with those every year. So as a that was just a wonderful thing to do, and so different.
Absolutely amazing, huh? Jan, I'm going to ask you a very special favor. How would you like to say goodbye to all our viewers in Latin America in Spanish, please? Try your
I'll
best.
speak in Spanish.
Do your best. Whatever you
Yeah,
can say in Spanish.
adios. Is that right?
Okay, Jan,
Probably Italian. I don't know.
it's been lovely having you in our channel. Please say goodbye to all our audience and looking forward to meeting you again in the near future in another Tour de France.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'll be there this year. The route comes out on Tuesday, the 29th. So, and I've already booked most of my places already. So hopefully we'll see you, and I'll see you again there soon, which will be lovely. So if anybody's watching who wants to go to the Tour de France, just go. You have to go to the Tour de France. You will not regret it.
I am the best example. Huh? That has been one of the most wonderful experience in my entire life. Jan,
Yes,
all the very best, and thank you very much indeed for accepting our humble invitation. Huh? Please say
absolutely.
goodbye.
Thank you and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi to everyone. We just seen the Tour of France today, and we have two good friends that we have found by coincidence. And I would like to introduce you to Sean and to Sam. John, will you please tell our audience how great cyclist fans you are and how many tours you have followed?
I've done 9 tours so far, and I do every stage of every tour, and it's fantastic. It's the best holiday ever.
Excellent. Sam, how did you like this experience?
This was my first experience, and no, that was amazing. Like, they sucked the air out of me as they went past. It was very exciting. So
Okay.
great to meet you too as well.
Oh, the same here. Okay. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.